Hey friends, I'm back for cycle 2, week 16. Sorry I missed the last few weeks. I was sick and then I traveled out of state to help my friend with her wedding for a few weeks. But I'm back now, so I will share with you what we did for week 16 memory work, and then at the end I'll share what we did for the review. First we did geography. We located all the places on the map. The kids each got one of these little monster finger puppets. I had got these from Dollar Tree at Halloween time. I think I've heard you can get them at Walmart in the party section as well. But because most of the places we were locating were so small on the map, we tried to see if we could fit them in the monster's mouth. So we used this to point to the locations. After we did that a few times, I taught the children a song that I learned from Happy Learning here on YouTube. I'll link that in the description. They sang it to the tune of We're Off to See the Wizard. And it goes like this. We're off to see the Balkans, Greece and Albania, Bulgaria, Romania, Slovenia. Next we did timeline. The children get out their snacks during this time. I go around and show them each of the timeline cards and say the name on the card, and they repeat it after me. And then I put them up on the board in order. They were really into their snacks this week, so I played through the song a few times and I pointed to them in order on the board. And then I had them come up in pairs and each take turns pointing as we sang through the song. For Newton's first law of motion, we sang this to the tune of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I'm not going to sing it here because I practiced this song like 15 times and it's hard for me to do it. So I found an MP3 version of it and had it on my phone to play in class. But I will share the video that I found that sings this song here on YouTube in the description so you can see it for yourself. And I'll also share the MP3. I'm not sure if it's just available to tutors. Sorry, my hair is crazy. I'm not sure if it's just available to the tutors on CC Connected or not, but I'll share the link anyway. So that song includes first, second, and third law in the song. So that's why we're starting off with it this week. The hand motions we did to the song, we kept it really easy. So for rest, we did this for rest. Object in motion, we took our fist and very slowly kept it in a straight line across our bodies. And then for outside force acting upon it, we took our other hand and hit our fist. And I really played that up with the kids to make the force as hard as they could. They had a lot of fun with that. So we just sang through the song a few times to get familiar with it. It really is quite a mouthful of a sentence for this age. So before we did the song, I did say the sentence and have them repeat after me just to get used to the words. Next we did math, the area of a rectangle. We do this to the tune of the Itsy Bitsy Spider. That song includes all the areas and for the upcoming weeks as well. I think there is an MP3 that I found on CC Connected, so I will leave that in the description so you can find that as well. So for the area of a rectangle, first I had it drawn up on the board. I wrote the L with one color and the W with another, and I had those correlating to the equation I wrote under it, kind of like you'll see if you have this CC app for this cycle. They have that diagram on there as well, but it's not in the Foundations guide. So I showed them the length and the width. And then we repeated the sentence a few times before we learned the song, and we put our hands up in the air like this. I called it a superhero punch. So we did this and lifted one knee up in the air. You can't see my knees. So we did this, lifted one knee up in the air, and then lifted the other knee up in the air. And did that as we repeated the sentence. And our bodies kind of look like rectangles when we were doing that. And then we sang the beginning part of the song, which goes like this. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. Then we went into our history sentence. I showed the children this visual aid that the Foundations Guide recommends for World War II. Then I said the sentence and they repeated after me as I taught them the hand motions we're learning. So again, I kept it pretty simple this week. For World War II, we just put up 2 fingers, World War II. Oh, I should mention we were having open house this week too. So I knew we were going to have a student in the class, so I didn't want to make it like too overwhelming for the new student who is only 4 years old. So that's one of the reasons why I kept it simple. So for World War II, we put up 2 fingers, World War II. For Hitler, we took those 2 fingers and made a mustache. 2 engagements, we put up 2 fingers again. The United States, we put our hand over our heart like we were pledging allegiance. For Pacific Front, we did this like the Pacific Ocean. Defeating Japan, we punched to the air for defeating. And dropping atomic bombs, we took one hand and another hand, each representing an atomic bomb, took them down, and then for Hiroshima, we had one hand come up Hiroshima and Nagasaki. For Latin, I showed the cue card and I asked the children, if I hand you a bomb, what kind of tense is that? It's an imperfect tense because with a bomb, it explodes, nothing's perfect. So it's imperfect tense. They were kind of confused because I did it right after we sang the song about bombs, so they were wanting to talk about the previous sentence. So if you do this in your class, maybe you don't want to put them back to back like I did. So then we went over the pronunciation of the endings. And then I had the kids sit in a circle on the ground, which was really challenging for them. These are good skills to learn, I guess. So after they got in a circle, I handed one of the kids this little Mario bomb that we have. And I played the Latin song, and as they passed it around during the song, and when the song ended, whoever had the bomb had to make a silly face, and then I just told everybody to make a silly face. So we just did that twice to get the song in twice because it repeats so much in the song. The last thing we did was English. We learned about verbs this week. So we just repeated the sentence and did hand motions to it. For asserts and action, we jumped up and put our hands in the air, action. For a state of being, we took our hands down our bodies because we are human beings. We're in a state of being. For links 2 words together, we pretended like our hands were words and they were linking. And for helps another verb, I paired the children off and each one of them pretended to be a verb and they shook the hand of their neighbor. For review this week, I drew a target up on the board. The middle one was, I want to say 50 points. The one outside of that was 25 points. And the rest of the board, anywhere on the board, was 10 points. But then I also put a little tiny circle up in the corner for 100 points. And I had planned on using a beanbag for the kids to throw at the board, but one of the children had brought in one of those suction cup bow and arrows I had shown you on previous videos. So the kids wanted to use that, so we ended up doing that. But some of the kids were too young to use it, so they just used the beanbag and threw it at the board. I prompted them with the review work, and if any of the students got the answer right, then they all just took turns coming up to the board and shooting or throwing at the target. And I kept score up on the side of the board and we were just going for a class high score. They got really excited to try to get past 200, which they did, so it was just fun for them. They all cheered for each other when they were going up to shoot or throw the beanbag. So that was really fun. I am glad to be back though, so I will be making videos the following weeks going forward. I don't have any planned time off. If I'm sick, you know, I'll miss making the video, but so hopefully I'll see you next week for week 17. See you then.